Hey, it's Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, and thanks to Paul over at Diecast Graveyard and all the people at Four Horsemen for inviting me to be along this month for the Guest Horsemen. The theme is pace car, and I kind of took that as, build a pace car. So I know it's kind of odd, but one of my favorite pace cars is the 77 Buick. And originally, I kind of wanted to go with the Zinger theme, but I kind of wanted to see also what it was going to look like slammed. So I tried a couple bases that you saw there in the background I had circled. Didn't really like the way the back wheels fit. So I kind of went back to my original plan, which was to use a Zinger base. And that required some trimming because the one I happen to have, or the one I picked anyways, was off of a Malibu. You can see in the background. So the base was a little wider and a little longer. So it took a little fabricating, which is fine for me. It was also, lengthwise, probably 3/16, probably too long. So you can see here, I'm going to be cutting it off at the front. And then I'm just going to kind of grind it down till I get the length overall wheelbase that I need. This was pretty easy to do because it was a good spot to do that in. And once I have that all set, then I know at that point I can move forward with the build. There's an area you can kind of see where I'm grinding now. Not really important. The only real issue was the side pipes. The front close to the engine side had a pin that went in, so that's something that's going to have to change when I put that back together. Not a big deal, just a little cutting, a little trimming, but it is something I had to be aware of. So once I did that, got it nice and smooth, then I channeled my inner Jim Silva and decided to break out the rarely used for me JB Weld. I think he uses it in every video and probably on other household items kicking around his house just to say he did it. Once I have the wheelbase pretty much where I want it, I have to cut a little bit of the nose off the chassis itself so that it fits with the front bumper off of the 77 Buick. And also I have to trim a little bit off of the rivet post. I'm going to do the same thing in the back. I had to cut the rear bumper off of the original base because it was molded in. The front is plastic and that was popped in, so that wasn't so bad. But again, something you have to be aware of when changing bases, especially with Johnny Lightnings. Like I said, the base was die-cast, part of the molded base. The front was plastic. So you have to kind of take that into consideration when you're putting all this together to make sure everything's going to fit when you snap it back together. I did some cutting on the chassis. The interior. Probably didn't have to. I had an idea originally of what I was going to do, and I didn't really end up doing that. So me cutting the interior up was pointless and created a lot more work for myself further on in the build where I have to fill those gaps. So again, no matter how, when you do customs like this, you're going to find things that don't fit right and things you're going to go a direction and then you have to pivot and go a different direction, and things that you already cut you might not be able to use again, or you have to kind of put it back together the same way. So, don't let those types of things get in your way. They're just obstacles. There's 1,000 of them that you run across, no matter how hard you plan. So, just take into consideration that, things won't always go how you envisioned it, easily anyways. I kind of look at that as they're challenges and a learning experience. And it's not like I'm going to learn to not cut shit up. It's just, how do I fix stuff? Because you're going to mess things up. I think the experience comes in how to fix them and to not get frustrated. I'll walk away, go have a cup of coffee, watch some Asian porn or something to distract myself from the actual process, unwind, come back, and then, get back to it and figure out what's going to work for me and how I can overcome this issue. And part of doing something that's not just a paint and wheel swap, that's going to happen a lot. And, it used to be that way for me. I'd get really frustrated. And there was a lot of projects I threw all my footage away because they were I get to the point where I was so frustrated with it that it just pissed me off. So learning how to deal with obstacles is part of the customizing process. So here, if you remember correctly, I was talking to you about the side pipes not fitting right because they're going to be too long because I shortened the chassis. Easy fix, just shorten them up a little bit. The rear one, the pin will still pop in, so you can glue it that way, and then you just got to put a little glue at the other end, and it worked out fine. That was probably the easiest issue I had. I like the Zingers, and I like this year pace car for the Indy 500. I just think it was an underrated car, and I really liked it. So here you can see right now I already have the back bumper glued on, but I have to trim the base a little bit, and that allows me to snap it in without having to worry about anything, and gives me the clearance I need to make things fit. And other than that, once I overcame a couple issues, real easy to do. I definitely do another one. I like the Zinger swaps. I went Johnny Lightning to Johnny Lightning, but the same thing could be said. You could do a Zinger base with a Hot Wheels or Matchbox or Jada or any 1/64 scale car. Fairly easy if you like that look. And I really do. I think Johnny Lightning nailed it out of the park on those. And, they're just absurd. They kind of have that Ed Roth, Rat Fink type of stance. And it just something about them that speaks to me. And I know I didn't do any modifications to the body. I didn't strip it. I didn't paint it. See, here you can see the gappage I was talking about that I had to fill back in. But all I really did is I chromed out the mirrors. I chromed out the bumpers because the back is die cast, the front is plastic. And really, that was it. The body, I didn't want to touch it because the body was mint. I liked it. I liked the way the body is. I liked the color scheme. I liked everything about this year car. So I didn't want to touch it. And I'm not sure if this really falls within the theme, but I don't care. I liked it. This is what I wanted to do. It is a pace car, and I wanted to do something a little different, and I liked the idea of the Zinger, so I just went with it. It's still customizing, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and this is what I went with. Overall, I liked it, and the chrome pens work perfect on the plastic and on the die cast. I didn't have to prime them. I didn't have to do anything fancy. And I think I whited out the headlights. That was, after the chrome. So other than that, pretty basic. Again, the car was good the way it is. I liked everything about it. I think if I would have painted it or tried to do something different, I would have just messed it up and I would have been happy with it. I had thought about going with like a weird, funky 70s paint job. Or like this is a 77, so it would have been borderline on the almost to the 80s pastel colors. Just nothing about any of that sounded good, so I just left it alone. Little details here and there just to make things pop, but I liked the base. I liked everything about it. This was a fun build. I'm glad to have been invited to be part of the Four Horsemen again. It's been a long time, and having been a founding member originally, one of them, I felt a little nostalgia doing this. But this is what I ended up coming up with. Again, nothing fantastic, nothing groundbreaking, nothing crazy. Just taking a Johnny Lightning official pace car and making it a Zinger, which it never was in the first place. So other than that, make sure you check out all the Four Horsemen builds. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.